Hello, I'm Perry from Rennet and Rind, and I'm talking to you today because you would have received one of these delightful boxes in the post. It's really beautiful and heartwarming to see that so many new subscribers. Christmas presents, I guess. They make a great gift to receive cheese every month or every quarter for a whole year from British independent farms, independent cheesemakers, and us, who's an independent business. So welcome all the new subscribers, and that means I need to explain who I am. So I'm Perry, I'm the CEO here of Rennet and Rind. I'm also an affineur. An affineur is someone who refines cheese, use selective pressures, brushing, washing, turning to get the best out of the cheese. So essentially like a cheese maturer. That's me. I'm well known for it. I won Britain's first competition in maturing cheese and returned the second year and won again. This year I was invited to judge. I'm a world cheese judge. I've been inducted last year in the Hall of Fame of Cheese. So hopefully, nice to meet you. That's me, pretty bonkers about cheese. And I put together, more importantly, these boxes. So we have a limited range of cheeses that we mature over the year and they change throughout the seasons. And essentially that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to put together 5 really nice cheeses that work really well with one another, that can be interesting, tick a few boxes, but also give a few examples of how outstanding some of the cheeses are at that period. And this is what I put together. So this is your video. So you've got your tasting notes. On the back you have the QR code, so you can scan that in and watch the video. We give you a complimentary pack of Peter's Yard biscuits, still the best biscuit, I believe, to taste cheese in its form and how it should be, you know? So yeah, let's talk about your 5 cheeses. First up, this is a journey for me to try and work out what cheeses would you want to eat after a fest of eating so much cheese over the Christmas period. So we're leaning into a few lighter areas, more kind of bolder flavours. It's very cold at the moment, temperatures have dropped, so we still want that warmth that's in there, but also a degree of lightness that won't overcomplicate the palate. That's my view on January. So saying that, I've got our first cheese up, which is called Sussex Brie. This is made by Arthur Alsop. Hasn't been in the box for a very long while, really. And that's because most of the time, the kind of bigger, bolder, more complex bries like Baron Bigod tend to take over. Where Sussex Brie, it's kind of just what it is. It's a brie. It's very simple in its execution, but actually that's remarkable as well. So let's have So the aroma is very mushroom, like punnet of mushrooms that you open up, mixed with a little bit of dairy milkiness that's come in there. I think on the aroma you get to sense how simple that is in comparison to the other cheeses. Let's have a little taste. And just what I said, you get that. You get that nice touch of bitterness, good degree of salting, nice texture, maybe not as soft as I like. These are honest views. I think we make up for it with our final cheeses in terms of the softness, but just a real delicate Moorish cheese. No huge amounts of complexity there, but I think, like I said, there's a lot of mastery in simplicity, and that is a good opener for us. To kind of salt the palate, not a huge amount of length, nice degree of, that was a pleasant cheese. And I think that totally achieves it, the Sussex Brie. Then we move on to something that moves up that simplicity scale, but in a more complex way, which is one of my favourite cheeses of all time. It's Yoredale, made by Ben and Sam Spence in Yorkshire, a proper Wensleydale. Wensleydales get often overlooked because of cranberries and things like that, and I just love this cheese because this is what Wensleydale should be. It is a proper pre-war recipe of Wensleydale. So everything that you've had before in the vat packs, in the whatever, is not how Wensleydale should taste, which is crazy when you think about it. These are big, 6 to 8 kilo kind of monster wheels of Wensleydale. Oh man, it smells beautiful. That raw butter and raw milk just really streams through there. We've got that degree of earthiness that's in on the rind and that mustiness. Once again, a slightly different texture, so we're going to know there's going to be that stereotypical crumble that comes through the Wensleydale. I love that cheese. Sorry, had a moment to myself there. The acidity is so pure, and it doesn't wane in too many different areas. You know, you've got that citrus jab that Wensleydale usually has, but it's not citrus, it's a creme fraiche, set sour, Greek yogurt, smoothness. And I really love this profile in January. They've been aged a little bit more because they've been in these maturing rooms. So they've been aged a little bit more, which tends to dry them out. So you get this kind of sticky texture rather than this moist, crumbly Wensleydale that we all know and kind of not really like, but it's fun to have on a cheese board. So you get this complete complex kind of difference between the Yoredale. Stunning cheese. Nice to have that contrast, slightly different. Normally I chop and change over the place, but I thought it was important to talk about the elevation in simplicity. You've got Sussexbury, simple Moorish, Yoredale, simple but really complex at the same time. Next cheese up, this is pretty cool. So this is a Lincolnshire poacher. Oh, I know what Lincolnshire poacher is. You don't know what this is? This is Poacher 50. This is a Lincolnshire poacher that has been cooked at a higher temperature. So actually, Lincolnshire poacher has more in common with a mountain style cheese, where you cook the milk and you get that sweetness more so than a cheddar. But because most people think Lincoln poacher is a cheddar. So it's cooked at a higher temperature. Now that's akin to similar to a Parmesan style, that it's been cooked to a higher temperature, which allows more moisture to escape the cheese at an earlier phase, which allows you to mature it for longer. So this is coming up to 5 years of maturity for a Lincolnshire poacher. So let's have a smell. I mean, it is floral, pineapple-y. There's a degree, I get this note of, it's like almost like a spice that's there in a controlled way, that I know it's going to have that effect. I can feel my tongue salivating already because it knows what it's about to anticipate. Let's have a taste. Chew is, as we would expect, aggressive from an aged cheese. Such a rolling of almost like a butterscotch kind of toffee sweetness that's in there, but it's interlinked with that savouriness that's there, that savoury kind of stock miso kind of umami, raw umami soy area. It dips into horseradish a bit with that spice. That is delicious. And the sweetness at the end really comes through. That caramel really comes through the cheese as it leaves the palate. There is so much going on. It is so all over the place. This batch is akin to more of a Gouda style than a typical Lincolnshire poacher. That is stunning. That is like really Gouda aged Kelpie. Beautiful Lincolnshire poacher from the Joneses. Next one up, we have Spark and Hoe Red Leicester. I wanted a little bit of colour on the board, and I just love the way these are maturing at the moment. I had some time in here over the Christmas period, just as I was waiting to do a virtual, private corporate virtual in here. And I just spent some time with these wheels here, and I was just tasting them, and they just seemed really great the way they were coming along. They were very even, all over the cheese. A little bit of miting has got in there, which kind of makes it more interesting. So this is, in our opinion, the only Red Leicester that's made in the UK. It's cloth bound, it's in large format, it's unpasteurised milk, it's animal ready, not vegetarian. And we just think that Red Leicesters aren't protected. So you can't, a Red Leicester can be made anywhere. It just has to be red, essentially. And we think this is just the proper way to make a Red Leicester. So smell, kind of neutral after what we had before. More mineral, kind of a little bit with the mustiness that comes in from the rind, so a lot of work has gone in there in terms of maturing. You've got kind of a bit of an earthy vibe, more so than all the others. Let's have a taste. Lovely texture. The reason why we put it as fourth is you get a pure minerality that comes through the cheese. That moisture difference becomes very, very refreshing. And it moves into this kind of the more smoky bacon area or a sparkano, which I've always quite liked. That kind of raw meat grill that kind of comes through. And that kind of nuttiness becomes less sweet and more raw, more not roasted, more just like raw hazelnut or walnut almost. And that kind of, that rind really encroaches in a little bit. You could eat that all day. That's what's nice about it, that it is definitely sessionable. You know, it's not too overpowering. You can sit down, watch your favourite TV programme just with a lump of sparkano, and I don't think you would tire of it. It changes quite a bit as you eat more and more. Delicious. Next cheese up, our own little creation, the Duke. It hasn't been in the box for a while. It absolutely went mental over Christmas. We mature these in a very specific, top secret way, and if you ever make it over to the Stanford shop, I will tell you those secrets of how we mature the Duke to get it the way that it is today. So this is a Cambozola kind of style, pasteurized vegetarian rennet cheese that is really thick and creamy. And the whole idea behind the Duke was to lean into an area of bitterness. Now, a lot of blues, because the nature of blues is beginning to die. A lot more people are into cheeses that please all the easy flavours, savoury, which there's nothing wrong with that. But with the Duke, we just wanted to lean into this bitter area a little bit more. So we give it a little bit of treatment, let the outside rind grow a little bit more, and then we do something special in the maturing room to lock in a lot of moisture that's in the cheese in another room that we have. So aroma, typical biscuity cream, little bit of mushroom that's on top. Let's have a taste. Textures, wow. That is so good. It is an attack on the senses, which I love. And I love the way it straddles this bitterness kind of area. That meatiness comes through a little bit at the end, becomes kind of breathy, but it almost becomes like, it's going to sound crazy, but it's in this area when you finish it, it's like you've had a sip of Negroni. You know, that kind of Aperol kind of bitters that comes through the cheese, which is delicious. It tastes to a degree spirity and alcoholic. And texture is lovely as well. At room temperature you get more of a rum, but you've got this slick, thick, almost double cream, whipped cream kind of centre. That is delicious. Very strong. Blue lovers blue. But I think there's a few people out there that would give that a go when it's running and actually appreciate it. Very intense, like a total contrast to these. That one lifts it up massively. And that's your 5 cheeses. And yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate all you new subscribers being here and enjoying this cheese with me. I'll be taking this home and having it at my dinner table tonight, maybe sharing it with the guys upstairs as well. So thank you very much, and catch you in February.